Salutations, everybody. I hope you guys like this music. I know I do. I prefer music. Music that doesn't have voices. People always distort things. Salutations. We are... It's Tuesday, which means it's your Instagram Live Day. I want to come up with like a cooler name. Like Instagram Tuesday, Instagram Crew Day. Yeah, Tuesday Crew Day. Yeah. Salutations, everybody. We have a lot of different things to talk about. You know, I won't lie. Life's getting crazy. I think it's getting crazy for everybody involved. But not really, you know, not really. If you slow yourself down for 2 seconds, it's not really that bad. A lot of stuff has been changing for some people. A lot of stuff's been staying the same, you know. I just got done. Oh, snap, that's not a line. My OCD stuff. I just got done doing like a 8-mile bike ride before I came here. That's the only thing that's changed for me, is I can't go to the gym and go chuck steel around for like the extra 2 hours. So now I gotta go bike for forever. I'm not a cardio type of person, but you know, hey, it's all good. And so you got people over here in the comments. I'll mention this real quick, say updates and get into topics and stuff. You got people over here mentioning in the comments that Madonna was arrested. They're saying that's part of the whole, you know, QAnon thing where, you know, deep staters are getting arrested, celebrities are getting arrested. And, you know, I had this revelation when I just did a 2-hour show yesterday on Global Watchman News with Lori Alexander. How are these people getting arrested if they're letting out all these criminals? You know, and I know that might be like, you know, the answer right there, that they're letting out the criminals so they can put some of these celebrities in there. But I can't help but think of that logic right there. How are they going to go around arresting deep staters whenever they're letting out like low-level offenders? So, you know, call me facetious, but we'll see. You know, and I don't really want to spend a lot of time talking about QAnon because I feel like we spent at least 2 or so weeks addressing that whole situation, and that's cool for however people want to, you know, go about truth seeking. But I don't feel like we should speak about that because it takes too much time. You know, and you guys know my history. You know where I've come from. You know what I'm doing. You know, you see my face. You know, you've seen the growth. You've seen us come here. So that's what I got. With that being said, salutations and thank you for tuning in to this edition of Instagram Live, Instagram Tuesday, Instagram Crew Day. Here are a few of the topics, and then I'll just kind of flat through some of the articles that we found this weekend. We're going to be talking about how to deal with quarantine, you know, life after lockdown, organizing in real life, obviously Bill Gates, vaccines, digital certificates, ID 2020. And as I said before earlier, we did a 2-hour show over on YouTube live. Did it live. Had thousands of people watching live. As soon as it got done finished, like as soon as we finished it, blocked worldwide. And it might have been because we featured the Microsoft ad for the HoloLens 2. It might have been because we featured that. And as soon as we got done, or while we were doing the transmission, they took it down. So I don't know, it could be that. But the fact that we're talking about Technosorcery, Marina, Abravomich, Spirit Cooking, Pedalgate, Bill Gates, all these other crazy things, who knows? So we'll try to get that content available for you guys, and we will try to make it available for you. So before I talk about these topics here, I kind of want to fly through some of the more important articles that I found over the weekend. Because even though we don't post, holy crap, I don't take a break. That's why I told you guys about taking a mental health break, because I feel like I'm losing my mind, but I need to just, you know, just refocus a little bit, you know, just look over here a little bit more before I get too tunnel vision. But here are a few in the virus front. You guys may have noticed that there is now a petition for the White House that currently has right around 3,000 signatures to stop mandatory vaccinations. We saw a lot of that happen last year. We're seeing it happen this year because of ID 2020. But this past weekend, there was a Change.org petition with over 129,000 signatures calling on Parliament to debate Bill Gates, debate his whole microchipping proposal. It was deleted, disappeared, just gone, out of nowhere, just deleted. And I mean, you obviously know what that is right there. They don't want people to talk about, you know, what other alternative solutions there are. I was joking about this before I went on the bike ride. I was talking about how over the past couple of weeks and couple of months, we've all had the choice of either becoming immunologists, virologists, or biologists, right? Like this is some kind of video game. Like we all get to decide, well, do you want to study how to build up the human body? Do you want to study how it affects the human body? Or do you want to study the actual lethality of the virus? Within this time frame, we've all had the choice to kind of, amateur-like go through this profession. And I just think it's funny because I've not gone through the virologist courses. I've not gone through the biologist courses. I've gone through the whole immunology aspect of it, trying to build up your immune system so that you don't contract it at all. But I find that very interesting. How does that tie into the petition being removed? Well, that's because they don't want us to have this kind of discussion at all. They want our only solution to come from Bill Gates. He just loves you so much. He just can't wait to give you that gift. Continuing on before I get too caught up in the shenanigans, another article that popped up from Signs of the Time this weekend in relation to the virus news was how a global survey revealed that hydroxychloroquine was rated the most effective treatment by doctors for the coronavirus. Now, think about that. And I think you had the Michigan governor that was saying that we need to block hydroxychloroquine, and we talked about that this past week on this past week's episode about how hydroxychloroquine has anti-radiation properties, leading more credence to the fact that some people are potentially, being affected by 5G in other weird ways that we don't know. I don't know. Like I told you, I went immunology, not biology. But another crazy article that popped up, and then I'll get into this topic right here, how to deal with the quarantine. Another crazy article that popped up, and I'll probably talk about this more with our exclusive members over this weekend, this Friday. This came from worldtruth.tv. It said strange reported symptoms of coronavirus infection, like fizzing and electric shocks, are making the 5G conspiracy theories sound credible. They have people who are reporting fizzing and electric shocks whenever they're in there, reported as coronavirus. And I don't know. I'm just reading out again some of the headlines that are out there. We talked last week about how some of the ventilators are actually killing some of the patients because coronavirus is actually a disease of oxygen deprivation, and these ventilators were actually doing the exact opposite, killing these people. So to have this kind of pop up this week is very, very strange. And so, as I said before earlier, that we've all kind of got different paths ahead of us, immunology, virology, or biology. We're learning more and more about this virus every single week. I don't think anybody knows anything about this virus that they thought they knew. I think a lot of people are kind of, bopping back and forth because as we're learning more, we're just learning more. I think that's the easiest way to say it. I think that's one of the reasons as to why we're leading the cases, why we're leading worldwide in cases, is because we're not trusting China. We're trying to develop our own testing mechanism because you can't trust anything that's coming out of China, and we're trying to figure out more about this virus every single day. And so you guys I'm not going to get up over here and tell you guys, hey, this is the cure, this is the cure, this is the cure, this is what you need to do. I'm going to tell you what I'm able to learn, what I'm able to research, and what I'm able to come to the conclusions of in that time frame. And that's what I'm able to come to the conclusion of. As things progress, we will learn more about this virus. So I'll put off real quick on the virus news, and then I'll get into some of the questions or one of the topics that people wanted us to talk about. How to deal with quarantine, life after lockdown, how to stay strong in a disaster with faith in God, and what motivates me to keep going, to keep grinding. I think a good thing to start with is how to deal with quarantine. I just told you guys I went biking. That's hilarious, to me at least. When I tell you not much has changed for me, people are saying expand on Bill Gates and all this other stuff. Don't worry, we'll get to them if we have time. Not much has changed for me. I told the audience last week, I'm very grateful for you, the audience, keeping me employed. And if you guys want to help keep me employed, think about joining our Patreon exclusive membership. I didn't put it down here, patreon.com/freedom faction, But when I get up over here every single Tuesday and talk about these types of things, post ads, and run all kinds of different things, that's so I'm not affected by all this other bullshit. So how do I deal with quarantine? Well, I look at what I'm doing and I try to do it a little bit better. I work out better. I sleep better. I get a little bit more focused. I've thought about coming up over here and pulling up the array of vitamins, supplements, and nutraceuticals I take every single day to talk about why it's important to keep your health on point, bro. Like, I'm not trying to brag, but not much has changed for me. I choose to go out there and talk with other people. I have a very great relationship with my community. People know to stay the fuck away. I respect them. I got a garden out here, several chickens, a studio bunny that I picked up for $5 because I forgot to do my laundry one weekend. I have a lot of different things around me already to keep me preoccupado. But the thing is I don't let all this external shit dictate how I feel internally. You guys have noticed that I've been wanting to take a mental health break because I need to recognize that while it's important to be informed, it's also important to keep yourself in check, and a lot of people don't do that. On the show, when we have a lot more time, I talk about emotional control, mental stamina, willpower, being able to just, slow yourself down, really look at things instead of just letting all these things affect you. People don't think about these things, but here we are asking very simple questions, not able to slow ourselves down. And so that's why that's why over time you're seeing my response not only to the virus change, but to the social contagion that we're being affected by, as well as the authoritarian measures that the governors and mayors are taking. So I'm not getting caught up in fear. That's what I'm telling you. I'm getting progressively more pissed because I'm seeing cowardice. I'm seeing fear breed cowardice instead of breeding like fearlessness. So you get what I'm saying. And let me tell you this, and I'm gonna get into this other part. My tire blew the other day, and I had to wait forever to get it towed over to my mechanic. Don't worry about all that. I got the car towed. I talked to the mechanic. I'm like, hey bro, how's it going? Has business picked up for you? How are things? He's like, oh well, things have kind of slowed down. I thought we were getting over the hump of this. I thought things were going to be fine. Out here in New Mexico, Michelle Luann Grisham, our governor, she extended the lockdown right around the time frame whenever the car got picked up. I talked with the guy for a bit. We're shooting the breeze, and we you know how it is when you're talking with people and you always got to check them out, see if they're down, see if they're woke, see if they're retarded, see if they're sheeple, you got to see where people are at. Had this conversation with this dude, and it got down to where we were talking about our faith in God, real talk, and about how a faith, a spirituality, how spirituality, religion, faith in God has given us a spirit of fearlessness, because we understand that life is what it is, man. We're all appointed a time to live, and we're all appointed a time to die. You're given a spirit of courage, not a spirit of fear. You're supposed to have fearlessness, not fearfulness, not to be fearful of everything. People are so wrapped in this materialistic, mortality-ridden world these days, where all they want is the massive amounts of toilet paper and all the Mountain Dew and all this other bullshit. They want to stay here. They don't realize that, look, dude, you're going to die. And I said this as well. It's such hubris and arrogance of man to think that they could control a virus. But you see, that's where we are right now. Because people don't have a deeper connection to something spiritual and everything else that's going on. They're like, oh, I got to trust the CDC. I've got to have faith in numbers. I've got to trust the scientists, the technocrats, and all these other things. Look, at a certain level, you can't control these things. And you've got to give it up and give it to God, dude. And I think that's why you guys hear me talking about, look, yes, the virus is real. Yes, these things are real. Yes, we're being affected by this. But at a certain level, freaking out and being bitch-made about it is not going to get it fixed. Talking about it and working through it is what we need to do. So back to the question. Life after lockdown, right? Because I'm not sitting up over here. Yes, I see all kinds of authoritarian things taking place. All these other governors and mayors trying to, get one off on each other. I get that. I'm not trying to talk about that. I've been talking about how, with the information we're putting out, how this all works. You saw USA Today write an article about us. You see the CDC pulling back after Trump was like, yo, we're going to pull the World Health Organization funding. How all this works is you put information out, you put content out. We're being tested on so many different ways. And so when you see people getting in love with the snitch culture and getting in love with lockdown, like, oh, I'm running out of toilet paper. Where's my mask? Sanitize, sanitize, sanitize. When you see people get into that that slave mindset, dude, they're gonna continue it. I don't think people get it. It's like the battered wife syndrome or like Stockholm syndrome, where they beat you and they somehow tell you that you're the victim. But if people don't, not necessarily rebel, but flex their strengths, exercise their freedoms, they don't understand that they still have them. That's why you have these mini dictators doing what they do. I digress. Let me get back into this. Life after lockdown. Or better yet, let me say this, and then I'll get into life after lockdown. That's why you already have that propaganda of BC, AC, before Corona and after Corona. You see that propaganda already going out there. It's nonsense. So life after lockdown, what is that going to look like? You're already going to have people who are hysterical. You're going to have people who are mentally scarred from this. Real talk, I thought about taking a whole bunch of courses in psychiatry, get my psychiatry degree, since all courses are online now. It's going to be a mental health epidemic. You're going to have a whole bunch of crazy people running around out there. I would love to sit up over there and pick people's brains to figure out what they're afflicted by and what they're going to do afterwards. But that's me. That's me just being a crazy, like, sociopathic, evil person sometimes. Life after lockdown. We're going to have a lot of healing take place. We're going to have a lot of time to recognize some of what's going on in the world. You've heard me talk about this. You're already seeing like the climate change narrative surface from it. Animals coming back into areas, wildlife returning, oxygen levels down, clearer skies, abnormal weather is my response to it, because I feel like that's the earth healing itself, stuff like that. You're already seeing a pro-earth kind of anti-human narrative being pushed out for life after lockdown, where they're saying only certain cars can go out on certain days. We had a caller just last week tell us about this. I think it was in Puerto Rico, that in Puerto Rico only certain types of cars can be out. I know we reported on it a couple of years ago that in France, they were trying to ban cars that were gas emissions. But you get what I'm trying to say. The idea is to criminalize human behavior and then put forth kind of like a global ethics code on how to move forward. That's why you see them talking about having like a lockstep program of government, having different nations and different states have a coordinated response. I think we posted it over here, but you get what I'm saying. Let me see if I can try to pull up the post or something along that lines to continue on. I probably won't be able to, but for the sake of time, I probably shouldn't. But life after lockdown is going to be a lot different. I think because of lockdown, you had a lot of people like myself begin to take, get their heads in the earth, do gardening. I've been building garden beds all over the place. People talking about Easter, man, I had to, after every workout, I run around my yard looking for different chicken eggs, man. Like, you're going to have a lot of people who are not so fired up, you see, and I talked about this last week. You've had a lot more people, I think, in Tennessee that died because of suicide, not the coronavirus, because of the mental health epidemic. People not working. I don't want to talk about food shortages and stuff like that. People are aware of it. I might talk about it this week on the podcast, but you get what I'm saying. Our economy, our society was not designed to shut down like this, but because it has, we're going to see what I've just called for years now, the socioeconomic and the socio-political reformation. People having to slow down, people thinking about things, their consumption, their production, their resource management, things of this nature. And so if you're not thinking about it now, trust me, you will be in the future. But moving on, because we have to. How to stay strong in a disaster, and this is for people with faith in God, and I think that's a very ambiguous or pretentious way to say it, but you get what I'm saying. How to stay strong in a disaster with faith in God, and the kind of subsequent question that goes along with it is, what motivates me to keep grinding when talking about these things? For a couple of weeks now, you guys have noticed that we've had guests that have called in talking about, their faith and why it's important to them. And I try to talk about that briefly as well. Why it's important to understand that at a certain level, government is not God. These technocrats can't control everything. You have to give it over. It's hubris, it's pride, it's arrogance of man to think that we can sit up over here and control everything. There's a pandemic going on. That's why they say there's no atheists in foxholes, bro. You got to believe in something bigger than yourself. But people don't believe. You get what I'm saying? For someone like myself, dude, my faith is constantly tested. Ironically enough, I don't have it here in front of me, but I have, as I talk about all the time, my 365-day devotional, as well as a men's devotional, where I get like daily scripture. And I try to pass on some of the stuff that's in the Bible app to you guys as well. My faith, and I talked about this a couple weeks ago, I didn't think that it was important, dude. Real talk, I didn't think it was important. I didn't think God was important. I didn't think Christianity was important. I didn't think religions were important. You know, I didn't think churches were important. I didn't think any of it was important. You could have missed me with that. And I want to say this now, since we're talking about faith and religion. One of the reasons why they're trying to shut down all these drive-through church services, these drive-through Easter services, is even though they're adapting to social distancing, is because it's not about the virus. It's about power. And I want to give a massive shout out to Carrie Wedler of the Anti-Media. She called it out last year. Statism, the most dangerous religion. And that's why we've been reporting on what's going on over there in China for years, where they've been installing Communist Party members in the churches, rewriting the Bible, rewriting the Ten Commandments, replacing them with Xi Jinping quotes, ripping up graves and gravestones, destroying the Chinese Christians there, taking them to re-education camps, thought transformation centers are what they call them. They call them religious extremists. You will have no other religion other than the state in China. And when they begin to practice that here, shutting down people who are abiding by the same social distancing rules, trying to praise God and still be a good law-abiding citizen, it's not about religion. It's not about the virus. It's about power. You see. So the question was this: how to stay strong in a disaster with faith? Keep the faith. Realize it's going to be tested. And you, at the same time, you don't need to go to a church in order to have faith. You have faith here. But at the same time, it's not about playing that political fucking propagandist bullshit. You need to come together. You need to understand that they're going to keep pushing you. You're going to still have people, there's casualties in wars, my friend. Like, you're going to have to do these things. That was what we're going to be talking about next. How to organize in real life. You're going to have them saying, hey, look, you're violating social distancing orders. You're going to have them saying, hey, look, there's no social gatherings. You're endangering the lives of others. You got to understand that. This is the nanny state. This is Big Brother on steroids. This is what happens whenever you think the authoritarian government gives a shit about you. Why? Why? You see what I'm saying? So understand this. To move on, because the thing right here is like, what motivates me to keep going. Maybe it's because I don't see anyone else, dude. I don't see people like legitimately getting frustrated that our freedoms and our rights are being taken. That we're just cowardly just going along with things, bucking back against the system. That's why you guys have not seen me come up over here and wear a mask. I'm not up over here saying, oh, something sarcastic speak, wear a mask. I had a total brain fart. I lost it. I can't even think of like something funny to say about like wearing a mask. I've talked about that, how like the symbolism behind wearing that, behind wearing the mask and the gloves, to me, I feel like it's just chaining yourself up and going along with things. I can't do that to you guys. But I mean, every situation is different. And so this is why we try to be very multi-dimensional in our approach. We try to just be multilateral and hit everything. While it may not work for me, because I'm out here in New Mexico, I got fresh air, this, that, and the third. In places like Florida, New York, Seattle, California, it might work better for you guys where you actually might need a mask. I'm not sure. But you get the point. The idea is organized civil disobedience, inspiring others to take action. You're seeing protests arise all over the entire nation because people get it. It's a sham. And you know what? They would rather risk their lives than sit up over here and die. This is bullcrap. This is bullcrap. I'm over here trying to be kind in my approach, saying, hey, maybe I'd come up with like a petition. You know, like a boilerplate template style petition that each individual could take to their city and or state and begin to talk to their mayors or their elected officials about what they, the citizens, declare as essential. Oh no. People are like, you know what? Screw that. We're going to have protests. We're going to have gatherings. We're going to do these things. And I don't blame them. But this is the thing. You cannot suppress freedom. There is no law that can give you freedom. The same way you can't legalize morality. So here, let me get back on this. I'm ranting. I'm ranting and getting angry, as always, about the current state of affairs. Let me read some of these articles, some of the article headlines that we picked up over the news, these social economic contagion news, before I get into this next part. And if we have time, we'll talk about, and we'll finish it off talking about Bill Gates, forced vaccines, ID 2020, digital certificates, and more. But I've been just terming what's happening right now because of the social contagion. It's the best way I can describe it. Lockdown psychosis, right? I've just been calling it that. The social contagion. Because of this, check this out. This is from the Gateway Pundit. It says a 12-year-old girl was shooting baskets alone, and then the city sent over a crew to remove the hoop for social distancing. So this little girl's over here shooting hoops, shooting the breeze, heavy chilling. And then somebody, a snitch up in the neighborhood, is like, oh my God, look at that little girl having fun by herself. I gotta call the cops. And it's just like, think about this. Think about this mindset, my friends. Think about this mindset. You know, I played that clip on Global Watchman News yesterday. I played that clip of who I called Quarantine Karen. You know, that lady that ran up out her house to yell at those kids and say, "Oh my God, like, how dare your ass is grass. How dare you violate social distancing? We're supposed to be sheltering." I played that clip just yesterday, and it just shows, again, that lockdown psychosis, right? That social contagion, that virtue signaling mindset. This is what happens when you have polarized people in politics, virtue signaling, social justice warriors, things of this nature, who feel like, I have a moral right to call the cops on you. Don't you know? I may not follow social distancing guidelines, but you sure as hell will not. Think about the doublethink that's being employed there. The very same way that they're putting like those little putting like lines, boxes for people to stand in, thinking that a virus is just like gonna respect like the little bubble that people have put up. I'll say this and I'll get back into I'll say this, mention an article and get back into these topics. You know, I said this past week, and I tried to mention it earlier this week when I was talking about Technosorcery, but Collective Evolution, the good folks over there, and the people at the Heart Math Institute did a study talking about your electromagnetic field, right? Your heart, how much it emits, your aura, your auric field, your etheric field, the bioelectric field that your heart emits, and how far it is. I'm not saying that it's 6 feet, but I'm saying it could potentially get to a point to where you're able to flex your energy, or even just vibe that high. If you're having like a great day, I think everybody gets it. It's sometimes infectious. It's you know, contagious. Happiness isn't contagious, but fear makes your aura shrink a little bit. You guys get where I'm going with this? So who's telling us to stay 6 feet away from a fellow human being? In times like these, we all need to be coming together. We don't need to be, we don't need to be practicing social distancing. We need to be able to communicate. But because we have technology telling us to hashtag stay at home like it's some old cute shit, we're going along with it. You see, because people don't have discernment, filtration, digging within themselves, courage, that fearlessness I was trying to mention beforehand, they don't think about these things. Who told us to stay 6 feet away from a person? You see? Oh, don't shake hands. Oh, don't hug. You know what? Better yet, close your goddamn mouth. You better not speak. You could potentially contract the virus. Think about that. Think about that. That is ridiculous. And so I'm thinking to myself, well, how about that? Go ahead and let me die, because I'm fine with that. My life already means something. But people are so content with just having everything here. I'm ranting. I'm ranting. You guys get what I mean? There is a spiritual and an energetic angle to this as well. And the social distancing, it doesn't allow you to synchronize your vibes. You can't vibe with people whenever you're 6 feet away. You can't come closer to them. You can't really learn the essence of what's going on. You can't inspire hope from six feet away. Only way you can is through technology. And I've been saying that the whole time. Who benefits from this crisis? The telecom industries, the telehealth industries. I digress. Let me get back into this. This is another economic aspect, and I'm sure people are beginning to pay attention to this. It says that the largest pork producer warns that the nation is perilously close to meat shortages as more processing plants close due to coronavirus. That's right. This other one comes from Sign of the Times. It says that the COVID-19 lockdown could potentially be auto-genocide. Food shortages are likely as U.S. farmers dump mountains and lakes of food. So because of all of this other nonsense, people not wanting to contract the virus, they're not going to go load up the food. Lori, the host I was on with just yesterday, her husband owns a trucking company. They say there's a lot of work, but nobody's over there to pick stuff up. They can't load these things up. There's food everywhere, but it's going to waste. So because basically the supply lines are breaking down, food shortages are happening. I've already we posted about it. Mile-long food lines, food banks with 3,000 people there. It's nothing fun. And so that's a whole thing. I'm probably gonna have to save that until for the main show this week. That's definitely not something that we go into during this time frame, but it's something that I feel like should be mentioned because people are so panicked. You're seeing people go out there to the store. It's panic-demic. You're seeing people go out there to the store. You're seeing them buy gluttons of food. You're seeing stores have security people outside, monitor how many people are in there, monitor monitor how many items you have, a total surveillance and police state inside of the store. All because of the panic. People are saying in the chat, yeah, start a garden. That's exactly what we're doing. But how many people are living in an area that has fertile soil? How many people can go out there and go get it now? You know, go get at least like 20 pounds of soil and just start building up different plots all over the place. I mean, unfortunately, we've seen some of the governors of these states begin to outlaw even the purchasing of seeds. You know, and I think because we have like My Patriot Supply and like a storable goods company, I want to like point this stuff out, but I don't want to seem like opportunistic by at the same time telling people, hey, you need to get prepared. I don't want to panic people, but we've been talking about this basically since like my birthday in January, and now it's becoming mainstream news. So I know people are freaking, holy shit, but this is what happens when you don't get prepared. I got, I think, at least like 12 weeks of storable goods. Yeah, 12 weeks of storable goods. I'm going to start posting, and you guys are going to see this. I'm going to start posting air filtration and water filtration because that's what I want to focus on next. We got 12 weeks of storable goods. I want to get some more. We're already growing a garden. I got way too many chicken eggs. I'm going to start working around with people in the neighborhood and in the community, in the area, reach out to the farmers market and stuff like this. But I'm all right. I'm going to be all right. What about everybody else? And so that's why we have to have these discussions. This isn't a show about me. This is a discussion about the health of this nation and explaining everything that's going on. So while you got people over here saying, oh, don't worry about that, bro. They're being selfish. You see what I'm saying? They're not trying to actually provide a need and a solution for everybody else. They're looking out for themselves, and that's cool. That's cool. I'm not up here to look out for myself. I can do this shit on my own. I'm over here to try to talk to you guys about this stuff so you can be on the lookout and take the steps that you need to be proactive in your life. But here, let me get back into some of the topics. And I'll try to fly through these so we can talk about Bill Gates, forced vaccines, ID 2020, digital certificates, and more. We were briefly talking about, organizing in real life and the necessity behind that. And what to do next. I said that already. That there are people. I want to take. I guess I want to take like what is it like the litigious route? I don't know what the frick it's called. Legal route. I don't know. I want to take the route where we can sign like a petition use that as like a template for everybody else, send that to other people, either content producers, politicians, elected officials, 5G tower installation people, you know, whoever, it doesn't matter. Design like a template, send it out there to the internet, have people send it to their elected officials, and then, you know, get this discussion rolling about what individual civilians can do to reclaim their freedoms. You guys heard me talk about that just last week, how somebody said, I need to tell people to stop doing that. After being called a nut job, somebody responded to one of our questions saying that you really should stop telling people to take their freedoms back. You really should stop scaring people like that. Well, here we are now trying to figure out a way to get you to understand the importance of your freedoms. I hope you guys have been enjoying your 30-day trial of communism. That's all the more reason why I keep telling you we need to flex our freedoms. So what to do next? And I think everybody's feeling this. We all want to get out there, destroy stuff, and, you know, basically have a great time. We need to understand that in the process of opening up the country, we have a moment to make history and do it the right way. And it's going to be different for everybody, different for every different state. And I think that's why I'm trying to say, come up with a boilerplate, let other people, wherever they are, modify it however they see fit, so that we can begin to have this discussion. Because the problem is, we're trusting businesses, corporations, and just like crooked politicians and sold out douchebags. We're trusting the wrong people to give us our construct, our framework of freedom. That's stupid. Why the fuck would you why the fuck would you do that? Why the hell would you let your enemy give you your freedom? I digress, but you get what I'm saying. So how to stop the mandates, the vaccines, the lockdowns, we start petitions, we get organized. That's the whole reason why we have social media. It's not to sit up over here and complain and laugh at rainbow kitty pictures and meat pictures and guns and all kinds of other nonsense. It's to unify. It's to come up with ideas that we can centralize around and move forward. Problem is, we're over here scared. Do not be scared. This is why, even though I'm frightened talking about a lot of this stuff, putting my face out there, you're still going to hear the truth, regardless of how rough it is. This is what needs to happen. This isn't just bull crap. It's not business as usual. We need to be more proactive in our life. So how to stop the mandates? This is why I've had on Justin Harvey of We Are Change from Florida, talking about how to stop 5G installations, getting people on for city council to expose these things, and having an open discussion about 5G and the effects of it. Same thing with vaccines. That's why that dude's over there just superstar. But this is the thing. We have the power. We're just too chicken shit scared. So when you see these governors and these mayors doing these things, they're doing it because they think they can get away with it. If we let it continue, right, it will persist. That's why we have to resist. So let me slow down on that. So we'll talk more about, you know, exposing, or we'll talk more about how to stop the mandates, exposing vaccines, exposing the lockdowns, coming up with all that stuff, as we learn more about our civil liberties, as we learn more about what we can do and more. So just give me time. All I'm saying is just give me time. I'm trying to cover so freaking much. It's intense. I'm trying to cover the virus, trying to cover authoritarian politics, social contagion bullshit, and just, I get it. People are over here saying, oh, why aren't you talking about Madonna? It's like, the fuck, dude? Do you see everything I'm like already talked about? Give me a second. Can I even confirm that Madonna has been arrested? See, has Tom Hanks been arrested? I get this. This is more of this QAnon stuff. I get it. But we need to start talking about proactive things we can do in our life so we can start fighting this. You get me? I can't really trust the plan if the plan is just to go along with things and then be trickled out information. I'm down to be proactive, not reactive. You get me? So yeah, let's get into Bill Gates, forced vaccinations, ID 2020, digital certificates, and more. I want to get into the Bill Gates stuff too, dude. You know, but I just want to mention this since we're talking about it. Information came out this weekend. You can find this over there at the Gateway Pundit. It says evidence that the Chinese officials reported Wuhan Institute was the source of the coronavirus through February, and we actually posted it. This is a quick news blitz. We actually posted it going into today. That new report indicates the U.S. and China collaborated on the coronavirus research prior to the COVID-19 outbreak. Now, the reason I'm mentioning all that is not only because of Event 201. We've reported on Dr. Charles Lieber, the scientist from Harvard, who actually linked up with Chinese communist officials to transfer biological materials over to China to give them essentially what they need. China basically got the biological material they needed for the creation of COVID-19 underneath the Obama administration. So what's happening right now is you're kind of seeing like a soft disclosure of like China saying, yes, we did actually, we created this. This did come from us, but it came from us after you guys sold it. So you see like that weird kind of geopolitics. It's like admitting it, but if we admit all of it, we're going to bring you down with us. So why are we talking about what's going on with the World Health Organization, China, America, COVID-19 outbreak, all this other stuff? Well, who's at the core of it all? The core of it all. Goddamn Bill Gates. Goddamn Bill Gates. Bill Gates is at the center of it all. Son of a bitch. He is. He's at the center of it all because he has his own variation of it. We've talked about it. The 2015 Pirbright Institute patent that he has, it is available, right? His own variation. USA Today writing an article about us and how they fact-checked us, confirming everything, even Event 201, Johnson & Johnson, Bill Gates, all kinds of other people that were present. They confirmed everything other than this particular variation of the coronavirus. So that's why we have to look at it kind of as a spectrum. I found this out as well before, and I'll say this and I'll get into all this other stuff. I found this out earlier today. Gilead, one of the main pharmaceutical producers of vaccines right now, because they're trying to produce like a coronavirus vaccines, Gilead is actually owned by George Soros. I didn't know that. I found that out. I was supposed to talk about that this past week, that Gilead basically donated vaccines for an experimental treatment, but I found out this week that it's owned by George Soros. So essentially, George Soros is donating millions of dollars worth of experimental vaccines and coronavirus treatments to people so he can get information on this stuff. Like I just kind of found that like mind-blowing, that essentially the people behind this, the crew of people behind this, the tyrants behind this, it's so crazy, man. Like, from Bill Gates sending out like massive amounts of test kits to people in Seattle right as soon as this happened to try to like accumulate as much people's DNA as possible to find this stuff out. It's like, it's crazy. It really is crazy. But here, I'm ranting, try to get into stuff. I'm not sure how much time we have, but we'll make it enough. Bill Gates, forced vaccines, 90 to 2020 and digital certificates. Thankfully, the entire world is becoming like increasingly aware of the dangers that are of Bill Gates. We've been on Bill Gates' ass for several years, since our entirety of doing this. But it's great to see people around the entire world flooding his Instagram with negative comments, people exposing him. I mean, it's marvelous, bruh. Marvelous. You know, and I want to say this too, because I'm sure a lot of people are wondering, hey, why didn't Freedom Faction get taken down? Why didn't this post get taken down? Why was this post allowed to go viral the way that it did? Well, unlike everybody else on Instagram that tags these people directly, right? Tags the pages and tags them to try to get their attention and, you know, say, hey, like I tagged him, fuck Bill Gates. Yeah, for sure, fuck Bill Gates. But you got to understand, these people play a very sophisticated game. That's why I don't go around tagging all the people and the people that we target. I might do hashtags. That's something that people can look up. But putting a particular tag in the post that targets them. That's my way of thinking. I'm getting around it. I don't know. That's just my thought process, because it is still fuck Bill Gates for sure, but it's trying to continually expose Bill Gates and still have a platform to be a voice to continually expose Bill Gates. That's why if you guys go back on the page, you'll see the USA Today article, them trying to fact check me. I put like 3 different posts basically confirming everything I was saying and more to shut the people over there at USA Today up. So you've got to understand what's going on with Bill Gates is very, very sophisticated. You see, I try to get real esoteric and real Illuminati, Illuminati symbolistic, all this other stuff. I tried to do all that in the Technosorcery episode that will be uploaded later. But the world is becoming increasingly aware of the threat that is Bill Gates. It's very, very dangerous. He just wants to give you that gift, guys. He just wants to give you that gift. That's all. All Bill Gates wants to do is give you that gift. He wants to take care of you. No one ever, and I thought about this because I'm going to ask this question again. No one thought about this. Why is technology our solution to a health problem? As if like running a scanner over me is going to clear me of coronavirus. It's like, why is technology our solution to a virus? You see. The same way I'm saying, who stands to gain from vaccines? Who stands to gain from the lockdowns? Who stands to gain from this? The telehealth industries, the telecom industries, big pharma, and more. I mean, we saw memes made about the people who made millions of dollars off of the face masks and the toilet paper. Well, who's making buku bucks off of our lives and the surveillance technology that's being instituted because of this? Who stands to gain from that? Bill Gates. Surveillance technology out the yin yang. So what is ID 2020? You know what? Let me see if I can find a better post for you guys. That way you don't get my rambling of it, and you get a proper description of it. What is ID 2020? Outside of it essentially being the mark of the beast, it's basically having it's what people in Europe are doing, what people over in Sweden are doing, where they forcibly inject you or voluntarily inject you with microchips to where all of your medical information, your payment information, your banking information, and more is put on there. So you could either call it ID 2020 or the mark of the beast, however you see fit. But I'm gonna keep it 1,000 and call it the mark of the beast because that's what it is. You can still put lipstick on a pig, but that's still a pig. No matter if you want to call it a lady. You get me? I'm trying to find the proper post to give you guys like an appropriate definition, but you get the idea. Why is Bill Gates' solution to this problem locking us down, forcing us in our houses, and trying to just jack us up with a vaccine? Why does he want to give us that gift so bad? Why are they trying to shut down hydroxychloroquine? Why are they not telling us to boost our immune system? Why are they not telling us to get some fresh sunlight, get non-recycled air, right? Hydrate. Why are they not telling us to employ common sense? Because somebody benefits from our death. Somebody benefits from experimenting upon us. That's what an insurance company is, dude. Like, come on now. It is. And somebody told me that too. Now that I think about it, it's like George Soros also owns like either State Farm or Geico. I forget like which one it was. It's like some old like special ops dude that told me. He's like, yeah, dude, don't you know George Soros owns this insurance company? I'm like, are you freaking serious? So outside of this dude like running around funding destabilization and civil unrest like operations around the world, we're now figuring out that this dude like funds profiteers off of death and is also funding the development of experimental coronavirus vaccines. I'm like, what the hell is this, dude? So it is insane. But I'm getting lost trying to look for this particular article. But what I'm going to do instead is just continue on, because I've kind of briefly addressed, what ID 2020 is, the whole forced vaccinations agenda, why it's important to expose this, and Bill Gates basically trying to position himself to become the new president. I want to say this, and I'll kind of start looking at stuff. I'll actually look at the notes instead of like the articles. I said during Trump's presidency, or basically like when he actually got like elected, and I didn't know any of what I know now. Trump's whole presidency is designed to trump in the technocracy. It's called trumping in the technocracy. His whole idea, and I reported on this, he had Microsoft, Jeff Bezos, Zuckerberg, all kinds of different people like summoned to the Trump Tower as soon as he was elected. And since then, we've seen all kinds of different agendas unfold. Part of me thinks, and I've talked about this. We're seeing the scientific dictatorship take hold. They want to use Bill Gates, not like as like a sacrificial lamb, but they want to put him up there, rival him up against Trump, saying, "You see how civilians don't know what's best. You've got to trust the scientists. You've got to trust these people. You've got to trust this, that, and the third." That's why over the past couple weeks, Bill Gates, like Nosferatu, waking up from his slumber. Bill Gates has been making trips around the entire news circuit trying to just get information out there. But you got to think about this as well. Who owns the media? Who's allowing this man to go out there and put out this narrative that there is no solution other than his vaccines? There is no other alternative than his vaccines. It's as if they positioned him, as I said before, positioned Bill Gates to become the next competitor, right? But think about this. We're in 2020 and we're being told that the only solution is a vaccine. Not building your immune system, not a system detox, not doing an intestinal cleanse, right? Cleaning out your gut microbiome, doing stuff like that. No. No, you must get a vaccine. Well, other than rambling and ranting, what would be the purpose behind getting a vaccine? Better yet, what would be the purpose behind getting this vaccine? Well, I'm just going to go ahead and the purpose behind getting this vaccine is so that they can track all your information and get like a digital implantable microchip. Now, that's the simple way of explaining it. My crazy self, behind the scenes, like I really do joke about a lot of this stuff is bullshit, is like not bullshit, but like batshit crazy. And so I'm trying to figure out like how do I put forth this like little skit I did in my brain the other day about Bill Gates' vaccine eating away at your brain, eating away some of that brain lobe up there just enough so that when, Elon Musk comes through and tries to jack your brain up with that Neuralink, Bill Gates' vaccines corroded enough of your brain just for Elon Musk's little brain chip just to nestle up in that little piece of wound, that cauterized piece of meat. Yeah. How do I casually talk about that being the agenda? You see, what's the idea behind these forced vaccines? Is to get access to your DNA, get access to your information. Not necessarily like rewrite your DNA. I don't want to say that. I don't want to scare people like that. But you got to understand, Bill Gates is a eugenicist. The man's on trial right now, basically in India, for sterilization and causing cervical cancer with his HPV vaccine. You see? So why are we trusting these people? And if you want the truth, this is my God to honest thought, and it might just be because I'm in this modality thinking about these types of things. I think, and I've been saying this because Trump's not here to fix any of this stuff, he's here to reveal these things. I think the whole purpose of this stuff is to be put out here to where it seems like overwhelming and like insurmountable, to where we think there's no alternative, but it's all going to be taken away. And I think this is again why we also have to have conscious effort to change that trajectory, because they have us being on a certain plan, on a certain agenda, on a certain pathway forward, right? But at the same time, it's imperative that we understand that we still have solutions. But because we're seeing all this crazy hype, seeing that this is the only solution, we're being told, go along with this. All that's going to do is create like a reaction where people come up with their own solution. You see, come up with their own alternatives. That top-down decision-making, that's not going to work. You see, we're going to see a lot of stuff change, but it's got to get really, really crazy before it does so. And so I'm not going to come up over here and talk about, I'm not going to talk about lockdown psychosis, thefts, murder, violence, fear, negativity, and all this other stuff. I'm going to sit up over here and talk to you guys about what's going to happen through and how we're going to get through it. Like what's going to happen during the things and how we're also going to get through it. But let me try to drill it down a little bit more, because I'm not sure how much time we have, and I want to kind of briefly mention these things because I've really been trying to get this talking point out there. Well, I tell you, I'm not trying to put out like negative vibes and bad energy and negativity or any of this other type of stuff. I've really been trying to make people aware, again, you know, of who they are, aware of like the human existence, of divinity, of like the soul, of that and more. For the past 2 weeks, I've been trying to explain things like the Schumann resonance. I've been trying to explain ley lines, magnetic ley lines, grounding, earthing, how we're spiritual beings, having like a human experience right now, how our bodies are temples, a very, very esoteric, occult approach towards like what's going on. There's a fear vibe being put out there. I don't think I got it. I obviously get angry. I think that's what my fear turned into. And so I'm trying to convert my rage into compassion. The Schumann resonance, the fact that there is a heartbeat to the planet, that we're all connected, right? That's what 5G is. That's what weaponizing the magnetic ley lines of the planet is strategically putting technology in these energetic centers around the earth so that they can manipulate the frequency of the planet. So yeah, we could look at remote mind control. I mean, shucks. There's an article over here at Zero Hedge just talking about it today, about how the Army has deployed, what is it? Yeah, right there. Air Force deploys first laser weapon system overseas. That's right. Raytheon developed it at the Air Force Research Laboratory. Yep, that's right. So, I mean, I could talk about space-based weaponry and all this other stuff. You know, wind towers, ELF towers, cell phone towers, and things like this. But I also think it's important that people understand at the microcosm, like the person, right? You watching, you have a purpose. People talk about, oh, how can one person do one thing? Motherfucker, why am I here? How can one person do anything? I'm trying to change this whole narrative that we see happening, and I'm trying to put out something positive so people just don't go along with the death, the destruction, the knowledge, and the apathy, the sadness. We don't need that. What we need is solutions. You get me? So here. Schumann resonance, music therapy, 432 Hz versus 528. I would not be able to get through a lot of this stuff if I were not listening to binaural beats, meditative music, ambient space music, things of this nature. So how does that tie into the Schumann resonance, the Schumann frequency? There's a particular frequency being put out there, right, that can harm, that can heal people, that can, you know, remove some of the damage. But when people are very sick in the brain, sick in the mind, minds have been shattered by drugs, souls have been ripped out of them because they've just been taken from this black obsidian phone or the Xbox or the PlayStation, whatever the hell it is. You've got to understand, people really don't have a positive relationship with themselves, a positive relationship with God, with the divine, with the eternal, with more. People really are sick, man. I'm trying to tell you guys, and I'm sure you know this. That's why I'm getting up over here saying, hey, I'm not wanting to go along with the fear porn. I'm wanting to figure out how we can dial this back and turn this into something positive. So when I'm talking about the Schumann resonance, music therapy, understanding that we are spiritual beings, spiritual and electrical beings in like physical meat suits, there's other things going on right now. That's why I try to talk about Marina Abravomich, that witch involved in spirit cooking and Satanism, getting access to technology, using technology to promote a wicked and satanic agenda. Do you understand? So when I'm up here, I'm not saying, oh, I'm trying to promote like a godly agenda. Oh, I'm trying to promote a Christian thing. No, I'm trying to promote like wholesomeness, decency, just whatever they are pushing anti that. This is an anti-God, anti-human agenda. I don't want that. So me doing a 2-hour show talking about a witch involved in spirit cooking, satanic ritual abuse, child sex trafficking, satanic ritual abuse, and more. You've got to understand, these people are trying to program you. They're trying to have you just kill yourself, hate yourself. We talked about that like last year. That whole fear frequency, the suicide spirit. They were saying, kill yourself, kill yourself, kill yourself. You ain't worth shit. You ain't never gonna be anything, you piece of garbage. Kill yourself. That's not what we're doing here. That is not what we're doing here. No. To pull something from Black Panther, we don't do that here. You see, we exalt God. We understand that humanity is fallen. We try to understand our proclivities, our problems. We get over them. We realize that this is the journey, that we are all supposed to be going through something different. We don't rely on somebody else to save us. We understand the adversity, the hardships, the journeys that we all go through individually are supposed to change us. You see. So when I'm talking about Marina Abravomich, the building the matrix programming, the worshiping of the image of the beast, we already see it right now. Why people don't understand that every day that we do this, every day that we get up over here, we post information addressing both the virus itself, the agendas that are going on, the solutions that are at your disposal, what we need to do it. This is an everyday battle. This is why we talked about this before we even got to this point, the evolution of warfare. We are in a completely different day and age. I think that's why we're having like a lot of people are having a hard time wrapping their minds around this, because this isn't simply about the virus. This is such a multifaceted event that everybody just says, you know what, I'm just going to wait until it's done. The problem is it's always evolving. You see, we're just now learning more. All we have is the fight. So if you're trying to turn off now, like people are saying, trust the plan, well, guess what? You're going to go along with the nonsense. You're not going to think about yourself. You're not going to try to change the trajectory. You see, you got people over here telling me to talk about the Q movement. I'm telling you about the Q movement. You guys you've already been used as the pawn, the necessary people that they need in order to go along with their agenda. I don't got an agenda other than exposing theirs and saying, what the hell are we going to do about it along the way? You're trusting the plan. Dude, that's how you become a sacrificial lamb. Because you don't think for yourself. Because you don't learn discernment. Because you don't learn how to research. You don't learn how to look out for tools and skills and how to build for yourself. You see. Oh, but you trust the plan. You trust those that do. Well, I guess because I don't trust politicians, I don't trust corporations, I don't trust a lot of the people that, you know, are over here on social media saying that they do this type of work. I don't trust even them. I trust work. I trust results. I trust what you produce. And right now, dude, we're not really producing a lot of things. That's why I'm getting up over here telling you I'm getting progressively frustrated, because we see a lot of people going along with the plan, being compliant, saying that martial law is justifiable because, well, kids are being rescued from tunnels. Kids were goddamn being rescued from tunnels before this. We don't need martial law in order for this to go down. So trusting in the plan has only opened up the pathway for compliance. You see. So, to begin closing things out for you guys, because I wanted to talk about, you know, music therapy, frequency manipulation, Schumann resonance, and stuff like that to close it out. I think people need to understand that this is 2020 is a different day and age, bro. You could even say with the before Corona and after Corona, these people trying to make trying to make a statement. There's a lot of things going on right now. But my other part of the name, Noise Era, the tagline for that is to tune into the signal. Realize that something this sophisticated could only come from the devil. If it was true, it would be simple. It would need to be explained. But something this sophisticated, so convoluted and so dark, could only come from like an adversarial force known as what we call the great adversary, the devil. When I'm talking about these types of things, I'm trying to remind people of like what's really going on. People sitting over here bickering about Q, that's Q. Haha, pun intended. We don't do that over here. We're focused about the work. We're focused about what's happening, what people can do. Look at how many things we've talked about within this time frame. Has Q talked to you? Has Q reached out to you? But see, that's the problem. People want a savior. They don't want to save themselves. I'm trying to sit up over here and tell you, I haven't saved myself at all. I'm still in the process of doing it. But that's how this works, is you can't give in. It is a daily process. Consistent, conscious action. But the minute that you give in, you trust the plan. Oh, shit, I don't even think about nothing. Free Infection and Q got it, dude. Trust them. They got it, bruh. I seen it. I seen it, dude. Watch. Watch, bro. Like, they are gonna do it. And even if that's the case, why would you not want to get involved? Why would you not want to activate yourself? Why would you not want to be in the fight? You see. I don't know. Teach his own. But here's what's going to happen, gang. We're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to be joined by you. That's right. The audience, the guests, the viewers. Yeah. Yeah. When we come back, we're going to be joined by you guys talking about 5G, Bill Gates, forced vaccines, ID 2020, organizing in real life, coronavirus, all these different things and more. This is a wild ride and interesting life we have been blessed with. And I want to say thank you guys for allowing me to be in your life in this capacity. I think we're all going through crazy hardships. It doesn't take a wizard to figure that out, does it? We're all going through crazy times right now, and I'm just appreciative to be here in your life in this capacity. So while I try to provide you guys with information, I also feel like it's important that you have a different type of nourishment, man. You know, and this is why even me, like, I get frustrated. I kick myself in the keister. I say I'm a punk ass leader. I need to figure out how to be like a better person, period. Not only like in my information delivery, but this role that I've been blessed with. I hate it because I have to do better. You know, my flesh wants to be a scumbag, and that's why I come up over here and I tell you guys these things. You've got to fight that. But people don't want to fight that. People don't want to have that discussion. I said this the other day. A person that's at war with themselves always loses. You are your biggest ally. But people are so broken, so destitute, soul shattered, fractions, shells of who they used to be, because we're broken these days, dude. I'm telling you. They don't understand that the point is to regenerate. And so when I get up over here and I talk about these things with you guys, whether it's from the vaccines, the spirituality, the politics, the economics, and all these other things, is to, again, remind you of the human aspect of you, that we can fix this, that we're going to go through all this together. Hate to say it, but if you don't like me now, I guess you will, you know, in a couple years that I'll be here. I thought I'd have been kicked off already too, but I guess not. Either somebody up there likes me, or somebody within the technocratic system is allowing me to operate. I don't know. I'm going to be here until they're not allowed to until I'm not allowed to be here. And so if that's the case, I'm going to try to make do with what I got and help us get to where we need to go, bro. And that's real. And I know I definitely need to improve on some things. And that's why I don't make any bones about my problems, my rage, my proclivities, and all the other things I have, dude. You know, that's why I do what I do, is because it comes from the heart. But I'm rambling and I'm being emotional, and that's enough. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to be joined by you guys, you, ladies and gentlemen, the guests, and more, talking about Bill Gates, 5G, the virus, coronavirus, life during lockdown, after lockdown. Who knows? Maybe people bring in some cool stuff talking about the Schumann resonance, frequency manipulation. Who knows? It'd be super cool. We're going to be taking a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to be talking about this and more on the other side. Ladies and gentlemen, don't go anywhere. This is Freedom Faction over here on Factions of Freedom, and we'll be right back right after this.